Thank you, Mr. Deputy President. I rise this afternoon to refer to a press release put out by Catherine King, the member for Ballarat from the other place, and in great fanfare on Tuesday night, Ms King announced that the budget provided $9.1 million for the Ballarat Freight Hub, and the press release said the federal budget delivered tonight includes funding of $9.1 million towards stage 1. And then Ms King yesterday said, under this Labor government, the funding is on the table. It is there this financial year, Ms King said. And on Radio 3BA yesterday, I understand, Ms King said the Ballarat Freight Hub to come into effect next year, which is, only a short, we're almost halfway through the year now, so it's to come into effect next year. In other words, in 7 months' time. So what is it actually? What actually was put into the budget? Do you think, Mr. Deputy President? Well, what I can tell the chamber is that indeed there is no funding this year for the hub. We know there is no funding. And as John Fitzgibbon, the Liberal Party candidate for Ballarat, said, this is an important project. But what Mr. Fitzgibbon said, and I say, is that the minister responsible was being completely untruthful when she said this would be funded this year. It was an untruth. Now, it is no secret that Ms King is joined at the hip with the Treasurer Wayne Swan and joined at the hip with the Prime Minister Julia Gillard. As we know, she was given an 11th-hour job because of her support for Ms Gillard. But the reason that she is joined at the hip is because she suffers from the same malaise that the Prime Minister and Mr Swan do. And that malaise is it's all spin and no substance. And I'll just briefly go through, in the time left to me, to go through the budget papers, say the fallacy, the utter fallacy of Ms King's press release can be seen by all who'd like to have a look at it. And what Ms King's own department said, Mr. Deputy President, is this. Accordingly, after consulting with the State Government Infrastructure Australia, we're now in a position to release a preliminary schedule of new projects to be funded and delivered over the 5-year life of our next nation-building program, 2014-15 to 2018-19. There was no funding allocated for this precinct, for this hub, in this year's budget. The very best that Ms King, if she's been truthful about this, could have said was that indeed, if this second nation building money is funded in next year's budget, then there may be funding allocated between 2014-15 and possibly as late as 2018-19. Not in this financial year. A complete untruth. A deliberate attempt by Ms King to get herself elected when everyone knows that Ms Catherine King is now Canberra's representative in Ballarat, and she is no longer a Ballarat's representative in Canberra. Ms King has abrogated her responsibility to the people of Ballarat and Ballarat electorate. And fortunately, we have someone there by the name of John Fitzgibbon, the Liberal Party candidate, ready to stand up and start representing his community. Ready, willing and able to represent his community. And if Ms King thinks she can get re-elected on the back of complete untruths about a so-called budget measure, then I think she, quite frankly, is sadly mistaken. Now, I also want to speak about another broken promise of this government. And the member for Eden Monaro, Dr Michael Kelly, I think he goes by the name of Doctor these days, was running around with the military superannuants for about 4 weeks before the budget saying, listen, don't talk about it, I'm going to get this fixed. I'll get this fixed. I'll get this fixed. Do you think this budget had anything in there for the fair indexation of DFRDB and DFRB military superannuants? No. No, they did not. So Mr. Kelly from the